Let's go ahead and open up our game manager script because we're going to be adding a little bit of code to that guy. Let's go ahead and double click on him there and let's get him open. And we're going to be writing our SpawnPlayers method here. This method is going to handle actually spawning our players into our scene and then disabling them until we actually start playing the hole. So we're going to click into the curly brackets there for SpawnPlayers, and we're going to say players equals new club controller, and then open and close square bracket, player count. What this is going to do is create a new array of club controllers. You may remember when we made our club controllers or set them up that those would act as our player controllers, and so we need to have a collection of all the club controllers present in our game. So an array is going to give us an ordered collection of all the players that we want to spawn, and we can actually control how many we have in our array by just using the number of players that we intend to spawn, that player count that we're going to give it. We're going to have that player count determined by a button later on, but for now we're just calling SpawnPlayers with 3 players in the start method of our game manager. But when we add the buttons, we're going to remove that code. Anyways, we're going to add a for loop in the next line, so we're going to say for int I equals 0, so that is our iterator. I'm going to say I is less than player count, so this loop will run until I is equal to player count, and then we say I plus plus, because we want to add 1 to I after every loop, and then we add our curly brackets, and inside those curly brackets we're going to say game object club is equal to instantiate, and then in angled brackets game object, and then in open and close parentheses, player prefabs I in those square brackets. So that's going to pick the player prefab associated with whatever point in the player count we are. And we're going to say players I is equal to club.getComponent, club controller. So we're spawning those prefabs, and then we're grabbing the club component off of that prefab to assign to our players array here. And then we say club.setActive to false, just like that. And then outside of our for loop, we're just going to say start hole. And if you're on the intermediate version of the project, that's all we're doing to our game manager here. You've got both of those methods finished, but if you're in the hard version, we're going to continue on and fill out those 2 methods. So once you've got this saved up, go ahead and save your scene. Or save your script, I should say.